I had back problems, and I knew that, so I had thought that go to a chiropractor if you had back problems. So I'd gone to two different ones in and around my neighborhood, mainly out of convenience. Nothing was a permanent fix, right? I mean, every 3 months I would still have issues. For me, my pain experiences would come in waves over the course of 6 years. I would aggravate it because I would bend over to tie my shoe, and then I would be out of commission for 6 weeks. I don't think I was in the immediate complete pain position. What I do know is I've been going to you for now, a year, and rather than me having issues every 3 months, I've had one instance of pain, and it dealt with picking up my child, and I was healed in a week rather than 3 months. So no better testament to the value that you bring to a patient.
Can you describe what you were experiencing before you started care with us at Roots Family Chiropractic?
I had a number of issues. The two biggest ones, I had mid to upper back pain that I think was muscular in nature. And I had been dealing with that for honestly at least a year and a half. More importantly, and more pronounced, was my lower back pain. So I had a slipped disc or herniated disc that has bothered me really for the last 6 years. So it would go in and out, I would aggravate it, and it would materially impact, my ability to work out, my ability to walk, my ability to pick up my kids. So in and out of pain, honestly, for the last 5+ years, particularly with my lower back.
Yeah, that sounds like a big struggle. And what other ways were you trying to fix these problems and pains that you were having?
Rest, stretching. I'd gone to other chiropractors. Nothing was a permanent fix, right? I mean, every 3 months I would still have issues.
Yeah, and that sounds super frustrating. And so upon starting care with me, after you started care, you told me that you were a complete skeptic of chiropractic care. Why did you start with me, and how confident were you that these issues would be resolved?
I started really at the request of my wife because she was the one that was signing us up. I was a big skeptic. I was not confident that this would change anything because I'd been going to some version of a chiropractor for the prior 4 years with no meaningfully successful results.
Yeah, and when you were looking for ways to help your low back and your upper back improve and to heal, where were you looking for information and doing your research to try and figure out what to do next?
Admittedly, I was not doing a ton of research. I had back problems, and I knew that, I had thought that go to a chiropractor if you had back problems. So I'd gone to two different ones in and around my neighborhood, mainly out of convenience. But like I said, none proved overly successful.
Yeah, and so after starting care, how would you describe the change that you saw after starting care in our office?
The care was interesting because in other chiropractor experiences, there's immediate feedback, right? You get your back cracked and something happened. I don't know if it was productive, but I felt it. Care with you, it's not the immediate feedback that I was accustomed to going a traditional chiropractor path, but the results have been that I don't feel pain. So no better testament to the value that you bring to a patient in that I no longer have pain, and that was my issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And going a little off script here, but what made you continue with care, or how did it feel to not get that immediate gratification that you've had in the past?
The fact that the pain wasn't there, right? What's the saying is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So whatever it is that you were doing, though the immediate feedback was not present, the results were present.
Yeah, and that's a pretty unique experience because, I don't talk about getting quick results, but I'll ask this, how quickly do you feel like you started noticing that change and that improvement to see those results?
It's tough to say because when I came to you, my pain was in and out, right? It wasn't a persistent, debilitating pain, right? For me, my pain experiences would come in waves over the course of 6 years. I would aggravate it because I would bend over to tie my shoe, and then I would be out of commission for 6 weeks. I forget exactly where I was at the time that I started. I don't think I was in the immediate complete pain position. So what I do know is I've been going to you for now what a year, and rather than me having issues every 3 months, I've had one instance of pain, and it dealt with picking up my child, and I was healed in a week rather than 3 months.
Yeah, massive, massive shift. And so, if you had to tell someone the best thing that's happened since being under care with us, what would you say?
I think as an individual, when you are in material physical pain that prevents you from picking up your daughter, that has all sorts of negative ramifications on your mental well-being, your you know physical well-being, all of it. So the fact that I no longer have that pain has material benefits and value to me, in many different respects.
And how would you describe the experience overall of working with me in the practice outside of getting the good results, but just like the overall experience?
Practice is great. The location, the ambiance is wonderful. Working with you has been a pleasure. You are personable. You are kind to my daughter. You're patient with my daughter. Yeah. So the intangibles of your office and you as an individual and how you relate to your patients has made it all very enjoyable and definitely worthwhile.
And were there any specific moments or aspects of the service that really stood out to you?
I think the ones that stand out to me most, honestly, are less about the physical treatment, but it's how you interact with your patients, right? So at the very beginning, my daughter was obviously very challenging, right? 2.5 years old, didn't want anything to do with this. You were very patient, very understanding, really helped her get very comfortable. So that stood out to me. Also, we are frequently 10 to 15 minutes behind. Apologies. But your willingness to accommodate, tardiness at times from us means a lot as a patient and as a consumer of what you're providing.
Yeah, it's awesome to be able to provide a quick service and be adaptable and flexible to families because that's what we have to do, right? And so, to wrap it all up, what would you say to another adult who's in the same position you were and they're trying to decide if they want to try chiropractic care?
You don't know what you're missing until you try it. And I was a severe skeptic. Uh, I actually referred to you as being a witch doctor. Uh, and I have now drank the potion, and I am, I think, forever a believer in the service that you provide. It's been immensely valuable to my physical and mental well being. So you have a forever customer here. And I would strongly suggest anyone else, particularly the skeptics, to give it a try.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. It's been great to have your family in the practice, and thank you for sharing your story.